So before we dive into this, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about a Ritu's latest update before this meeting. Her and Jason talked a while last night, but essentially, there's going to be a division of work. So Fatima, you're still going to be on UX, but I guess Jason and her have hired an actual UI UX person, and they want to pair you with that person, Fatima. And Nestor, I know you're running a bit late, so when you see this, or if you show up, I'll let you know. But you'll be working with the other devs. Essentially, after we walk this wireframe, this will make more sense. But this is this a lot of stuff that Jason worked through and shared with me in Teams last night. So I just incorporated it into an RFC like we have in our planning doc. You guys remember the flow from RFC to DDR to actual ADR. So it's basically idea and then like a little more, the DDR is like a little more solid how it fits into our framework. And then the ADR where it actually becomes like a feature that's locked in and we have a spec to follow to build it in our system. The reason I want to bring that up is because I took his stuff from Teams last night, made it into two RFCs, 26 and 27, and then used that to generate a prompt to give to Cloud Design to come up with this wireframe. And then I shared this wireframe with Ritu this morning. So she shared that division of work change with me, and I shared this with her, and she gave some feedback. So I want to walk you guys through this, give you guys, make sure everyone has access to it. But then you could mark up and you could comment, leave comments on here. And right now, I think I just left you guys comment access because I don't want you actually. This was like this is in like Cloud Design's in beta, and I had this designed pretty much last night. But then it just disappeared on me because I was like switching from my max plan to my Waifinder plan, and in that process, I didn't delete anything, but it just disappeared and wasn't there. So I just want to hope it's preserved and like not buggy. But essentially, what I see here so far is you can just like you were doing on the site, you could click and leave a comment. So when you have questions about things, we could use this as our area to share and ask, and we'll get this looking like the site should be. As far as user flows and like process, we can create Fatima. You guys could create like the pages like for marketing and stuff that you'll work with UX on, and kind of plug this process into it, and we could do that. But this is really just to highlight the process that Jason was talking about last night. So yeah, we're gonna rock that a little bit. If there's any questions, you could, create a comment here, and I'm sure you can link back to it like in Discord or something. I don't know, because please let me know in Discord if you leave comments for me on here, because I switched to my max plan because the premium seat for Teams is great, but the max plan even has more tokens, so I like to use that one. And I don't have a max seat on the team for that reason. So it's really limited. So I'm always if it will notify me in my window, I won't see it if I'm not on that plan. I don't think. So yeah, just let me know. But anyways, from Jason's conversation, you guys could see the RFC and the repo. So if you go to the planning repo and then pull the planning development branch, I'm kind of working in this. You can see all the RFCs from when I merged everything together. So it pulled in your guys' stuff as well. But the latest two are a pretty big, like some clarity that was needed for processes and stuff. So with these, that's where I created the wireframe from, essentially just starting as the baseline, rather than trying to incorporate it on top of what we already had. So I left out the design system and everything just to get the flow down. So if you come here, you guys could read those, and I'll share a link to all this stuff that has all the links to the GitHub and everything, so you can go look at them yourself. But essentially, this is broken down into 10 steps, and they're in these 4 buckets. We got entry, discover, design, and deliver, right? And so you can think of entry and discover and even design really as like the marketing and sales stuff. And that's what Fatima, you and the UX person they hired. I don't know his or her name yet. So, but you can essentially think of this as the um, implement marketing and sales implementation. And so the home page essentially is here. And again, the design and the way it looks doesn't matter. It's the flow. So here, Ritu was talking about having like four separate doors, right? So basically, you have the explorer. They don't know what they want, but they know AI is important. You have the problem solver. Like they have a clear idea of what their problem is, but don't know a solution. So they just want to try to find a solution. Um, some people may have a project in mind already, so they could come through this door. And then you got someone that just wants to explore and like innovate and see possible ideas potentially, right? So they could come through here. In this demo of the wireframe, these all come to the same place. They come here. So this imagine sections like learn what's possible. So you come into this and what brings you here today. They could, they want to do these things. And now where this is shifted is essentially from this design to what Ritu talked about, and it's basically I knew I'd have to do some iteration. This is a one shot thing here. So this right here will be like an agent essentially, right? So you can think about it as an agent. So rather than having this form, this would be things we would lift up into the agent. So the agent would ask in the chat, like, what brings you here today? And maybe have like these as options, but multiple select option, right? Right now this is just one. Like I imagine you could be able to choose more of these. But let's say they want to reduce costs. Then it takes them into this form, which again we want to take this form and put it into the sales agent. So you can think about two agents. This is the sales agent, but the features and the questions it can ask, you could really scope from these forms, right? So we want to know how many employees they have, what kind of software do they use, and like what repetitive work frustrates their team, right? So they can answer these questions, and you have like kind of like a progress showing here. Then you could go continue, and now this kind of just restates it. They go, okay, this is your current state, and this is what the future state will look like. And then here's the outcomes and return on investment preview, right? So you got like the time saved. It is this right here is like the information, and if this looks good to them, they could say yes, let's continue. If they click refine answers, it will actually just take them back to this so they can answer their questions more specifically. But we go here, we'll say let's continue. Now here's like what you have for the options, right? So you have your options, and this is like how we'd help you get to where they want. And then they could choose one, and like we don't really give a price here, but we kind of say this is the least expensive, middle ground, most expensive, right? So we're not really just quoting prices at them. And if they don't like any of these, they have exits here. They could restart their discovery. They could try a different door, but right now it kind of goes to the same spot. Or they could just say, you know what, I want to talk to a navigator. And a navigator, just to stick with the theme of Waifinder, navigator is just the FDE. So essentially, they could choose they would choose a project that they want. So now we get into this, and they had from here they would create an account, or would ask them to confirm to create an account. It would save them, and this is their portal page. So this is like where they'd be here, and tells them they're at the discoveries. Discoveries complete. Next is collaborate on scope. And so you can see here the futures, and not a list of stuff, but just kind of all condensed down into future. And then you can start Scope Builder. And what this does is it asks more detailed questions to give them a better, like to start scoping the work, right? And so you can think about these questions here. And keep in mind that all this is form-based, and this is all pre-contract. So you can think about the sales agent as being pre-contract and the platform agent being post-contract. And you'll see that split here in a minute. But essentially, all this stuff we'll want the sales agent to do and ask these questions in the chat and capture that information. So, and you have these options here in the tools, and they could, choose their timeline. And then once they get this all answered, there's some options here. They could save and come back later, They could submit scope for review, or they could hit next. I'm pretty sure next and submit scope for review are the same thing. So here we go. We go to, here's the scope. This kind of just like a review of what they want, and this is the real-time scope of work. You can imagine this being a little more robust here, but you would have the deliverables, the milestones, like the estimated budget, success criteria, assumptions, and the risks, right? And that would kind of be all like laid out for them. And if this isn't there, they could edit previous answers to add more clarity. Maybe the assumptions and maybe some assumptions are not true, so they could go back and edit until this scope of work is aligned with what they're thinking. And then they would approve and move forward. And then Sarah Chin, here's the FDE Navigator as an example. We could schedule a call with her. This is from the user's perspective, right? Not this is the client looking at this. So now this is looking at this. There's a like actually a human in the loop. You have a conversation, and then once the questions are answered here and things look good, Sarah says generate in your contract now, and then we can say cool navigator confirmed, generate contract. Now here we have the master service agreement. There's the different steps that Jason was talking about yesterday that we need filled in more. You'd have the scope of work. You'd have the pricing and the payments, and then milestones and acceptance. And just for clarity, this milestones and acceptance is what we'd want to like walk them through transparently, right? But on any one of these, they could click looks good, let's sign, or they could go back and request changes. And then they could choose which one they want. If they want to request changes, and they could send it to Navigator, right? So, and they could change here, and they could send to Navigator. But we'll cancel that. I say that's good, let's sign, and then we'll take them to like DocuSign where they actually sign the contract, where it becomes legally binding. And they sign and they activate their contract. Now, just like you had previously, you would have the discovery would be all done. This shows the project is 60% complete. And they could escalate to a problem, like add an item. They could chat. Oh, where's my back button here? Oh yeah, this is there again. Okay. And then yeah, so they just come through and they can sign. We'll just do that again because that kind of took me back. And then here's this page, and then we get just kind of what's next. And so here's like an upsell section, you know. So it's kind of like here's some potential things that could be added to your project. They could learn more. Or they could add it to the roadmap. If they add it to the roadmap, you can see it's added here. Now it's multi-phase. I got the phase 1 current, and the next phase is phase 2. And oh yeah, one thing I want to show you guys here is like you have per milestone detail. Yeah. So this is like with the milestone they're currently on. This is like the detail about what's being worked on currently. And then you have the Gantt view. So here it kind of just shows like dependencies and where we're at today, and kind of you can see the sales agent can't really be worked on until this stuff's done. You know, so I don't know if you're familiar with the Gantt chart, but basically it's just a timeline, like a milestone and then a timeline, and it kind of shows dependencies. If things can be done in parallel, they sit next to each other. If they're dependent, they get pushed out, and it kind of helps you to like determine how long something will take to be built. But that's the Gantt chart, and then they could right here. There's notification because then they have an account and a dashboard. They're not really interested in these, but they could get a reminder in 30 days, right? So on their dashboard, they have they have their dashboard here, right? So it's the basic starting location, and they have like the workspace where it has all the shared documents, the scope of work draft, the signed contract, the opportunity mapping, like all the stuff that's here, and then the decision tracker, like they approved option B, the scope sign off hasn't been done yet, so here it showed pinning, but in our walkthrough we just clicked the button to sign it off, and then the signature, so everything's checked off over here as it goes through. Um, yeah. Then in the roadmap, we've seen that already. The scope document, this is looking back at that. Then this navigator chat. So the platform agent, we still want this dashboard, but where this diverges from talking to Ritu is that basically this would be chat with the agent first, but we could escalate and just say I want to talk to a person, and like the message, the person's, we just want to bring them into this chat rather than having two separate chat windows. We'd have it, and basically we'd want to be able to bring them in. If that proves to be too difficult, we can have two separate ones, but it would really be nice if we could just, anywhere we're chatting with the agent, we want to be able to escalate to a person easily. So for instance, here we have to schedule a call. So we could be chatting back and forth, but I want to schedule something. We'd have that same type of thing where talk to your navigator, or this little card's nice too. And then they could schedule a call, and now it says here full journey context loaded. Essentially, we would get a snapshot of the conversation so we could get context before they elevate it to the person. And then you can just do edit the scope just for clarification. I don't have a back button. And then you could, want a different solution entirely. You could go back to the options, right? And then if you go back to the very beginning, these, like I said, these all go to the same spot. But here's a sitemap, so you can review, so this is the entry page, and you can think of it when we're designing this and working as multiple teams. The scope of work would be kind of split up between teams. That structure's changed. That's how I was thinking about it. But after talking to Rito this morning and hiring the UX person to work with you, Fatima, that kind of changes things a bit. Like basically all the pages will all be designed by you and this UX person. And you're actually your prototype. After talking to Jason last night and Ritu this morning, your demo. The reason I wanted to share it with him right away is because it's actually like the agent first chat, like how you had it set up and stuff in that demo, is exactly what they want. So that's great to show them. There'll be some tweaks, but that's some stuff that's worked on with very good baseline is what I'm saying. It'll be worked out. But yeah, so basically they work through here's the entry pages, like the main home pages, and then the discovery is basically all the this is when if you click innovate, I believe it takes you here. But it's all like looking at the projects. So if we go back here, let's see. Yeah, see, this is all taking me here. But if they choose rather than choosing Imagine, they know exactly what they want. They could upload a brief or a mock-up of like saying what they want and like how fast they want it, and then when they submit here, that document essentially be given to the agent to do the process. And then here they clarify like what outcome they're trying to achieve. He will use it. What's their tools? What happens if someone interacts with it? And then you could say like, oh, these, yeah, I need all these, or I just want, because of price, I just want this knowledge, Q&A stuff. I want to be able to have like a FAQ agents. People can ask questions and it answers them, and then we can see recommendations, or we could say, and that's just those upsells of other things it could do. And then I could just say, I don't want to see that. I just want this, just my project. And then they get directed to the scope builder. So what I want is for you guys to go through and kind of like learn these processes and flows, like these steps when you're building, so you could look at these as references. If there's gaps, you could go over here to comments and drop a comment down on something. And I don't know if we could at teammates. No, maybe not. I would see it pulling up, but But once you guys are familiar with this, I will give edit access too, so you could come in and like for your parts you're building, you could actually tweak this to make it fit more. And then so Fatima and the UX guy will probably want a Claude Teams account if we're going to use this for our medium rather than like Figma or something. Um, and then you could like describe tweaks here, and I think you come out here and mark stuff. But and then edit is just straight going to chat. Um, well, no, it's not. You could go here. I was looking at this a little bit, and you can actually edit like the style for us and stuff. So when we actually do add the design system, but we want our button for the design system changed a bit, you could edit them like right in line here, which is pretty cool. Um, but yeah, and then these are states for like if they're just they click come back and save later. This is what it would come back here to where they were at, and you could they could work on this, and if they were to click that, um, they would come back here. This is to talk to the navigator. Take me back. Yeah, but this is pretty good. I think it took everything that Jason pretty much requested, all the details that he wanted to flesh out, and really make sure it was in here are here. Oh, just okay. Had some team stuff to make sure it wasn't too important. Okay, sorry about the distraction. But yeah, is there any questions about this? I know it's a lot. Um, so yeah, I would definitely want you guys to go to the link and explore it, and mark it up with comments. Um, and Nestor, Brian, Juan. Um, yeah, same goes for you guys when you guys watch this. Just please go through and look at it, add your comments, and then ping me in Discord, for questions and then once you guys get it down well, like either tomorrow or the next day, I'll open up for edit access. I just don't want it being edited right this second. I want to make sure that I share it with Jason. I'll be meeting with him later this afternoon. Hopefully he's available. I'm supposed to meet with him and Ritu, and we'll actually just confirm all this stuff. Like the processes are fine. Like a lot of this stuff, basically though, like we could think of about if we just took this chunk out, this piece right here, and just replace this with an agent they could talk to. So like some stylish like looking thing where they could start talking, and then it opens up a chat, and they could open it, like expand it, and it'll like pretty much guide them through all this type of stuff. This is basically all of this whole process would be just the agent talking to them in one window. And basically how I envision it is just how we have in like Claude chat, right? Like how we have this, and it has like the plan mode. Basically that would be like the scope of work, and they could say like, just like if we go here, I can see my plan. This is for the change of scope of work, and like replacing that in the Claude design. As a middle of doing that when we started talking. It's actually asking me for approval, but I want to read through this first. But this is like it'd be great if we could do something like this where we could do plan. And those tutorials I share with you guys, I'm gonna look more into them too. But there's those hooks you could use. So I really want to, we're using the Anthropic SDK, so we want to look at how we could use that SDK just to create these kind of chats and open up these things in the window. Would be great. So, and we'll have, in light mode first, because I was showing Ritu, and she's like, it's too dark, it's too dark. And I was trying to explain that the color don't matter, but a lot of people like, can't see past it. The color's important, so let's make sure we do it in light mode. And so we'll Yeah, have like a chat similar to this. She actually wants it like Chat GPT, is what she was saying, the agent mode. So if we come here and we look at Chat GPT, she wants. You could envision like the sidebar. Obviously, we wouldn't have like the same as Chat GPT, but we would have like potentially maybe like we could have this sidebar. We could open up the whole chat into its own tab. They could sit here and talk with it. They could go to projects like project ideas. So like projects is a good thing, different than how the different context, but essentially the projects they could hop back into a different project idea, go through and talk through different things, and then like choose which one, keep track and choose which one they want. They go through the questions, and basically the goal is to get them to sign a contract, right? So we're trying to get that scope of work all defined and get it really simple for them to just be like, yes, this is exactly what I want. They can iterate on it. We give them like a plan mode where they could look through and say, yep, this is what I need. Here's a return on investment laid out for them, and they could just click next, and then it would take them to that dashboard page where they're, you know, right, essentially right here, right? We're getting ready to sign a contract, so everything's all designed, and then they click sign a contract, and then this kind of shows everything laid out for them. And yeah, that's it. Dang it, 34 minutes ago. Yeah, it's weird because I have I created this first on my account, so I have two, but because I use the same email, like it shows both projects, and it's tricky because I can't see. This is the one that's in my projects, I believe. Yeah, because it has the back button, which I liked because I could go to a page, then use this just to go back if I want to click into something. But the screen map isn't a pop-up, it's this. It pretty much created the same thing, though, in two different sessions, so it was cool. But is there any questions? I do want to leave the recording on for any questions I could potentially answer, record them. If not, I want to stop the recording. So I know there's only 3 of you here, but Emilio, Enrique, Fatima, did any of you have any questions about this or like things you want to elaborate on?
For example, for the things where Brian and I are building, would we go into that page and wire them in ourselves, or are we still doing our same workflow of just wiring the backend? Or
Yeah, that's a great question. So essentially, you'd want to like decouple like the front end and the back. So you'd have the back end, right, and you'd want to attach to the front end because we have like Fatima and a UX person coming in. We'd actually want them to probably design it. I don't know how in depth this person's going to be. If they just want like I need to talk to Jason more on that, right? Because I haven't talked to him yet. I just heard this morning this at 12 that we're bringing in a UX person. So I don't know the details yet on how much he was hired to do. Like, what's his scope of work? Is he just doing like like the surface, so it's like capturing the thing, or is he doing like a deep dive UX all the way through the process? So I would use your UX, but just document like the API calls and how like requests and responses happen to the backend anyways. And at the end of the day, that won't really, if that's documented, it can be done either way, right? And I don't think you're spending too much time on UX design, right? Because you're just generating it with the agent. Yeah, but that's a correct assumption, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, but
yeah,
yeah. So it
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
It's not really a loss. Like historically, that would be like, oh man, I spent a week designing that UX. We're just throwing it away, but you're just prompting for it to be created or generated. You give it your ID and it's generated in sync with the back end, right? So it don't really matter too much as long as you could go through and have Cloud document all your endpoints and the request and response like data structure. Because UX, I've worked with UX people before, and like I'll have like a data structure, like a JSON, and say, this is the information you get back. You decide like how you want to display it. And sometimes you could clean up the data structure, which essentially clean up the back end because you're giving them too much information. They want less sometimes, or they want more. So you just like kind of update your database and update your structure to store more stuff to feed to them, on the front end. But essentially, what you have now, and just rolled into this workflow, like because you guys have essentially, if we go to like the dashboard page, right? You guys essentially have, so where's the dashboard at? Project workspace. So yeah, this is their whole portal, right? And that's why I like this screen index on this too, because it really shows this process. And if you read RFC like 27 in the planning repo, like it breaks down all these steps. So this is just like it summarized into a clean wireframe, but you could go through and look at all that. Um, but yeah, so if portal is basically the work you guys are doing right now, and we want to rework this a bit. Like we still want the dashboard, we want to have this, but um, we want this to fundamentally be like a chat interface with this navigatable dashboard. And what I think would be cool, I don't really know how to do it yet, is if we could, I keep going back. Um, if we're in the chat, like imagine this workspace and like we could show them like their return on investment and stuff like that. It'd be cool if we could actually in the chat, like rather than put it in the chat, make that part of their dashboard. Like put it out here, like when they look at like roadmaps and stuff, like the chat would actually update the information in their dashboard, um, where it makes sense. Oh no, I'm gonna hit the wrong button. Damn it! Try to go off screen. I always have my back key is my one of my right mouse click button, and I used to just hit it to go back like on the web. So I do it like in here, and it doesn't work because it goes back on the web. Um, yeah, but then how it works, it's kind of been updated, to all 10 steps have been kind of broke put into these three buckets essentially. And then you have the notifications. So like here's like the examples of notifications that come we would want to capture and like raise on their chat, and then where they want them at. Do they want them email, Slack, or like in the app? They could choose where they get their messages. Like we could push notifications. Like for us, I'll set it up in Discord, so we'll actually get notifications pushed to us. I have like everyone's Discord IDs from the server already, so we could wire that in. And basically, so the FTS signed up, they'd have like the Discord, and they'd be on our server, and they just connect their Discord by giving it its ID, and essentially, if there's a message from a person, but this is the user's dashboard, so they got like when a stage is complete, they get a notification, and here it says like view recommendations because the discovery is being done, so it kind of prompts them on to the next thing. Here for the message, it opens chat. You can go directly to chat from the notification. Then, like if there's a blocker, so this is the contract under review, and this is what we're wait on a sign. So we got to sign and activate. And it's like, oh, these things aren't done yet, so I got to go to the scope summary, and then confirm with a navigator. And then once everything's good, we could sign off. And then here's your settings, for your profile. Maybe you want to request a navigator change, or you want to look at billing, or your team. Maybe they have this could be for a business, so maybe they have like there's a point of contact that kind of sets things up and creates the account, but then the person actually working with us is someone different. That's pretty common. So we want to be able to like have members for a business that we're building for. Then their profile, and data sharing policies and stuff like that. So in this list, is there any other questions or anything people want to look at here specifically? I mean, we could look at it together. I'd actually love it if you guys looked at it on your own, look through every page, like walk through the flows like I just did, but also come back and see like come back and look at these. So if we went through and clicked on each of these, yep, we've seen that one. Yep, we've seen that one in the flow. We've seen this in the flow. We've seen that in the flow. That was the escalation. We've seen this continuous evolution. This is the upsell. Like, yeah, what's next? When we click what's next, if they want something next. Um, this is you want to see opportunities from the. Yep, we've seen this. And then, so this is like we haven't seen this. This is like this a mock. So it doesn't see like if their session expired, they could kind of start over, resume at last checkpoint. But you can see like right here, it's kind of just like a note for the developers, So we have like this covers like 404 error, sessions expires. This they want to start over, like they just got overwhelmed. They want to start over, And then those we all covered. Those we definitely covered. Yep, that we covered. Yeah, that's a scope review. That's the final thing in the process. Yeah, so I think we covered everything here mostly. I will create an RFC and eventually like an ADR, so like we'll scope this work inside the two different agents, the sales agent and the platforms agent. That's the stuff I got asked to do right before this meeting. So we'll scope that work in there, but essentially, diving into the Anthropic SDK, I think, is our best solution. Our best next to do is just understanding how to do those hooks in the chat to get embeds to work cleanly and like generate plans and send messages back to the web so we could update dashboards and stuff. Looking at the possibility of doing that and then the how, if it's possible. And of course, because we're doing this with agents, we'll have to hook up Langfuse and do the evaluations, to ensure everything, is set up as good as it can with like constraints and protections on the agents, so they can't do off the wall stuff. Because we got to think about like protections for Waifinder and brand identity protection and stuff like that, so people can't come in here and say racist comments and get racist things back, or do things that would reflect badly on Wayfinder. So we got to make sure we do that whole length view setup and have it all in place. But we'll do that once we get everything set up, and we'll set up tracing to work through our workflow. All right. Is there anything? Any questions? Any more questions? Any questions?
Oh yeah, I do have one.
Yeah.
Um, so for example, when we're working on this, like if we're just like working on like maybe like changing the fonts, like does it change for everyone, or is there a way I could make like a copy?
Yeah. So I think you can make a copy. So if you come back here and you go to like, I don't think you see all the leads. Maybe you see two, but you could click this, and you could click duplicate.
Okay, okay.
And then you could rename it like version 2 or name it whatever you want. But projects are separate than design systems, right? So like when I created this project, I gave it a prompt, and I cleared this, and I said prototype, and I gave it a prompt that referenced the RFCs I had created to create the slide. So if you want to do design system, that's here, right? And so we have this is like all in these changes. I didn't want to start with this because I felt like it'd be easier just to start with the fresh one with what they want in mind. But you could come through here, and this is the design system, And this was what's really interesting is like it gives you kind of like the overall feel and like the synthesis of like everything about it. And then I just did some editing here to play around with this. Like they had, for instance, like here this was these were both identical, and on dark I was like, oh, this isn't good. So I was like, okay, how do I could edit this? So I click edit, then I could click edit again, and then I could choose this, and then I could, but there was no color changing here when I looked at it because this is like a image, right? So I was like, oh, that's not what I really wanted. So I went back, not exactly how I did it, but you could give feedback, and I could just tell the agent what I want to change here, and I said I want the on dark to be white, and then it edited it for me. So there's different ways, like this breaks this down into components. The UX person you work with will be very familiar with this. They'll know what a design system is, and do all this. This is all new to me when I was. It's just formally like identifying everything, right? All the components. So like the buttons that can be reusable, like all the different like accents, like everything's like here's basically part of the like it. This is used on our website currently somewhere, and what this does is if you connect it to the code base, it goes and finds where all these things are defined and pulls them out into the design system so they're reused, and then it gives them access to the. Then you use this design system when you're having the agent build. And it's really good because it actually recreates this stuff. It doesn't recreate this stuff, but it uses all the references. So you can see here, like kind of like how Tailwind, you could go dash dash C dash gray, and it gives this. And so it gives you the shorthand here. But when it's generating, it'll use this as well. But if you need to do like an inline edit for a style, you could look at the design system and know exactly how you get this look.
Oh, okay, sounds good. And have they decided on like a color palette or have they told you any
No, they haven't
of
given me
that?
any
'Cause
feedback on that yet. That's probably why I wanted to bring in a UX person. I probably asked him that, and he was like, "Oh crap, I don't know." So, yeah. And then yeah, and so I actually wanted to get rid of like the Claude always uses the emojis. You know, like where were they at? It had them like on the little, like all the little emojis it uses. So I was like just seeing how good it would do, and I said generate me icons to replace the emojis, and this is how good it did. I don't think that's really great. So I think you probably want to go on like if you want icons working with you, actually probably want to go on to like some site like what is it? Icon Finder is a free one. But they have a paid version too, but it's pretty cheap. Oh, Icon Finder is closing. Oh, that's I haven't used it in a while. Is it closed? Wow, that's crazy. Yep. Uh, well, here's the replacement. But yeah, you can basically come through here and like you got like SVGs of like all different icons and stuff, and you can search like what you want and stuff like that and see what comes up. But basically, you would like for like looking at our wireframes, like, oh, I need icons for this set. So you go through and you'd find them all, and basically you'd have like this library of icons that are used in your page. Um, and this is a uses notes for Claude. Um, it's pretty cool too because you can actually say here details of how things should be used. But yeah, this sorry, it's a long-winded answer, but you could copy the prototype, which is an interactive site, and then this is like the separate thing on top of it. So I think we could even go back to that prototype, and that design system I was using was actually a copy I made, and it just named it Remix. So I wanted to try to edit things without break it if I broke something. Um, let's see if we could do this. I wanted to rename it. And then this isn't the one I wanted. I want delete this one. Okay, bear with me, guys. Duplicate. Click rename over here. Yeah. Why is it giving me back to the same one? It's like, oh, it's weird. Test. And then I just want to see if I can add a design system. And I said the one we have as an org default is a C. If I click done, and then we can say apply this design system to the prototype. Actually, might exceed my usage limit. But this will do better or worse depending on like you go in the design system and that Claude usage underneath and you tell it how it should be used. That gives it narrows in the scope on how it should use different things because it's a solution like in the past I've tried to like create like a global CSS file even and to say always reference a global CSS if the color or style is there, follow dry principles and reuse it. And it works, but sometimes those files start getting pretty large, and then it's like it loses it in context, or it just doesn't see everything. Or um, hopefully this isn't better right now, so hopefully this is working pretty good. But um, this kind of solves that problem, I think, of having the design system. And it took when I was just like extracting the design system from our development branch. It took it almost 30 minutes when it says it takes it up to 5 minutes. It took almost 30. So I don't know how long this is going to take. Maybe I'll show you the results later, but we're gonna maybe we don't want to sit here and wait for it to get done. But I'm actually just curious of the results, which is a simple prompt like that.
Question, Gary, while we wait. Sorry, I got a bit late, so I'm not sure if you already explained this, but how do you access the actual wireframe? Because I have access to the design system, but I'm not sure how to access the wireframe. Or do I have to prompt
Well,
Claude
I
to?
think Fatima shared the link, but I also put it. I thought I had put it in the bottom of the message earlier. So in Discord, it's there. So if we go to Discord,
The the one Fatima shared takes me to the design system for some reason.
okay, try my link, Lynn. If you go to general chat, I think I did it.
So
Yeah,
I couldn't
right.
find it. Oh, let me see if I sure if that was okay. All right, yes, I can see it now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. But yeah, like I was telling them earlier, you could watch it. I'm recording this too, and I'll post the video when we're done. The last probably 20 minutes is mostly just kind of open, but just to watch it until it starts kind of getting less focused, because we're just kind of doing open-ended stuff right now. But watch it till it gets less focused, because I actually asked you guys to come in here and explore this. But just because we're here right now, but this is the screen index. So essentially, this is like an index of the site, and you'll want to look at RFCs 26 and 27 in the GitHub. So one thing about cloud design is that it does run in the cloud. So it's like I was trying to connect two repos because that's how I've gotten used to working. I have the planning repo where I keep all my documentation, and then the code base, right? And so I have a planning slash development branch on the planning repo, and that's just where I've been kind of updating with the development. We merged everything together. I pulled all the RFCs for all the stuff that was incorporated from your branches. I turned them all into RFCs and put them there so they're documented. But I did the same for this. But I talked to Jason last night. I got a bunch of information through Teams, and basically I made RFCs for it. So if you remember the flow, it's explained in the earlier in the video. But the planning repo, we have the design discussion folder that holds RFCs, which are basically just ideas, officially requests for comment. So you have an idea and you want people to give feedback. So, and then it gets turned into a DDR, which is like a design document, right? So that's basically like, okay, this idea is cool. The DDR is a developer's take on how they would best fit it in our stack, right? And then that could be a conversation among devs to like fine tune it, and make it better. And once everyone's happy with like how that's laid out, that actually gets converted into an ADR, which becomes like the contract for how we build things and what enforces how we build, right? Or how we want the agents to build. That's kind of like work for how an idea comes in. We don't want to be super formal with it, but I did want that formal setup in our planning just so working with the agents and like dealing with rapid change and ideas coming from Jason and Ritu and stuff and things coming in. I wanted to have like a semi-structured flow. But all the stuff that Jason gave me is in RFC 26 and 27, which are the latest two. And I'll actually probably be and the one I just did, I just modified RFC 27 to go to the two agent approach. So we have a sales agent and a platform agent rather than trying to write another RFC on top of it. I just in the process of incorporating that in. I did it in plan mode in Claude, and right now it's prompting me to see if I approve the plan or not. But I want to after this meeting go through and read through this and make sure like everything's good. It's not skipping things or something. So I just want to reiterate in the plan a little bit, make sure it's good, and then that RFC will be updated with the latest stuff. So this is how I applied that design system, our original, and it did a pretty good job so far by looking at it. So now if we come here, yeah, yeah, this looks good. I like it.
Can you guys hear me? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, did you hear me when I told you right now?
when you said can you hear me is when I
Oh,
heard you the first time.
oh no. Okay. I don't know why. So I just check the cloud design, and I have access to the design system that you share with us, but I don't have the wireframe yet. Is that fine?
You should have the wireframe. So this is the one that it is.
Or is there like a difference if I am seeing it like in the web rather than the desktop app?
It
Because right
does.
now I'm looking at my desktop as the cloud desktop, and I'm not seeing it.
So you're on the app or the cloud version or the
The
browser
app,
version? The browser version.
no, the app version.
Okay, so and you double checked you're on your Teams account before you switched over to Cloud Design. So here, let me show you what I mean.
Yeah, it says that I'm in the Wayfinder organization
Okay, yeah, because right
instead of my
here
account.
anyone should see it. So can you click this link that's in?
Yeah, the one that Fatima sent, right?
No, not the one that Fatima sent. The one above it.
Oh, the other one.
She's
Okay.
yeah, hers is to the design system. So just that one in the bottom of that message there.
Yeah, now I can see the wireframe.
You can see it now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I don't know. I was like, I don't know what to do
Good.
because it's saying anyone that's in Wayfinder can comment. So I will change this to edit, but I just want to give you guys some time to get familiar before I just make it editable right away and you do something accidentally. Because this is in beta and it was doing some weird stuff. Just like I don't know if I did something wrong earlier, but like I was like making a duplicate of the project and it made a copy of the other one. And then yesterday when I was doing this, like I spent a lot of tokens and probably like an hour and a half like getting things set up, and then I got it all working, and then it just deleted. But I think it's just a bug because I was switching back and forth between my Max plan and my Wayfinder team plan because what I found is because like you could work on these with your own tokens. It doesn't really matter to you guys, but it was just kind of cool. I realized, I still have access to this project because it's shared with me, and I could work on it still. I don't know if that's intentional. I think it might be a bug just because I use the same email for both. So like because I use my work email for both of them because I get reimbursed for my personal Max plan before we got Teams, and so I just send them the bill every month. But when we got Claude Teams, there needs to be an admin, so I need to get given a seat on there. But I didn't want to change because then it means I'm starting fresh with like memories not built up and all that. But yeah, cool. I'm glad you have access. So yeah, Nestor and Enrique, they both showed up late. We're probably going to close the meeting soon. It is after 2. We could continue on if you guys have more questions, but really, for those that showed up late, I'd really like you to watch the video, see if it answers any questions first, rather than just repeat everything. So look through the video. If you have questions, hit me up in Discord. I'm more than happy to answer them. I just don't want to do the meeting twice, essentially.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Gary.
Yep. So is there any other questions?
Not
Yeah.
on my end.
All right, cool.
Yes,
And
I have one question. I'm sorry. So the only way to access the wireframe is like through the web browser, like Claude in the browser. It's not available like in the app.
it is available in the app. I don't want to leave this page because I don't want this prompt to go away. I don't know if it will
Okay.
if I leave it, but if you actually go, so if you go here and you go into, they have like the little download button down here, where you could go and
Uh-huh.
you click that and then it'll say like there's a big old notification right now. It's like Claude Design Beta, and you can open it and it'll open it through the app.
Oh, okay.
So you can open it through the app or the browser. But what sucks is you don't have access to the chat anymore. So what I like to do is I like to open up um, Cloud Design through the browser because it's cloud based anyways. So you need to have like the repos and everything pushed upstream, and then make sure you connect Cloud Design to GitHub because it's like a separate connection rather than Claude. Even if you do it through the app, so you just got to go like connect GitHub, and then it'll point towards you want to point it towards Wayfinder OS.
Okay.
But I
I
think
think it's showing now
yeah,
based on the
I
sample.
think because we have a team account and that's like I think that's org stuff. I think it's because I did it. It's all connected already. I think we're good. But just in
Okay, yeah.
case,
It
yeah.
wasn't showing before. But it's showing now. So yeah.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
Yep. So has anyone not been able to find the wireframe yet? Because that's a big part of like watch the video for those that showed up late. But it's pretty good as far as process goes. Obviously, the look and feel. It's just placeholder to understand the process that Jason was spelling out for me yesterday. Yesterday late afternoon, early evening. But I incorporated that all into this wireframe, and then also, just as a reminder, you could click comments, and then you click somewhere you want to leave a comment. So if you have questions or think something's like that seems wrong or something, um, you could post about it, and then just
Well,
say, hey, I left some comments on it in Discord. I don't even know how these comments come up yet. Let's test it. Test comment off home row. Oh, so we could send this into Claude. But now, is this comment? Can you guys see these comments when you are on the page? Can you click comments and see and type in there?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, cool. Will you type in there? I just want to see if there's notifications that come through or not. I'm just kind of curious, or if it's something I have to go
Do you want
to.
me
Yeah, please just type.
to type that comment?
I
Yeah.
use this. And you have to refresh. But I reply in your comment.
Oh, gotta refresh. Yep. Oh, that's because I gotta fix
Yep.
that. I wonder if I just turn comments on and off if it refreshes. Um, will someone else say something? I'm just kind of curious. And can we delete these? No. But we can mark them as resolved. Oh, no, that's the action resolve. So we could click resolve and then send to Claude. Or add a note. Interesting. Okay.
I don't see the page. I only get like blank prototype slides, document, wireframes, and animations.
Will you show your screen real quick?
That happened to me.
Oh,
Yeah, that happened to me. But when you click on the link from Gary, it loads. It loads
Okay,
it.
okay.
Like it locks it. If you refresh,
Yeah.
you can see it now.
here, I'll pin that message too. So it's already kind of buried. So I'll just pin
Oh
this.
yeah. There it is.
And if anyone's having an issue like on the team later and I'm not around and it's late and someone's like getting on late, if you guys are on, you can just click up here to show. Oh, you can just direct them to that link actually, but you can just click here and just copy the link too and drop it. That's how I got that link. I just click share and copy this link and dropped it in there. Yeah, I think this captures the essence. I'm really hoping that when Jason sees it, he'll be happy with it as well. Of course, a lot of the form stuff they want condensed down into a chat, but that gives us a good scope for what the agent should be able to accomplish, right? I feel like it's getting pretty well defined now because it was like build a website, but I don't know the sales process really or how they envision it, for the vibe. But I'm starting to understand the vibe they want and like the how much back and forth they want and stuff like that. So.
For example, with what I did, and I pushed the one that you saw for the demo that you guys did yesterday. Like, try to redo it here in the cloud design, or should I just wait until the meeting with Jason and Ritu?
No, so if you want to work on stuff that's part of this, so yeah, wait, because definitely watch the video, but I'll remind, just to say everyone again, like the scope of work has been divided up. So Fatima's going to work with the new UX person they brought on. Nestor, you'll be moving over to like the back end team, and then on that work, we're going to split the work between a platform agent, which is like a portal agent, so it's like, and then a sales agent, and you could think of the split, the the boundary is pre-contract for work and post-contract for work, right? So
Okay.
everything before they sign is going to be the sales agent, and everything after they sign is going to be the platform or project agent, right? So,
Yeah.
and then
Okay. Then.
yeah, so that's how it's split up essentially. But if you go through and look at this flow and stuff, you could imagine like, okay, all this form stuff, they don't really want form. That's the old way of doing it, right? So, so I could do all this as a form, yes, right? But what we really want to do is basically how this iterates here. We think about a chat just doing this, and then it would like have this embed in the chat that says, "Here's your current state and future state," and you could be and then a little thumbs up to approve in the chat, or you could be like, "No, that's not right. I needed this added in there too," and it would just iterate directly in the chat, right? So it's kind of just how we work with Claude. Or you talk to Chat GPT. Ritu wants it to look like Chat GPT in light mode. Here, let me.
Gary, well, while we're on that, can I show you what we built
Yeah, let me see your
for that
demo. Yeah,
part?
let me see your demo.
Okay. Okay, I'm sharing screen.
Yeah, let me switch over there. Sorry, I was trying to find my dark mode switch. Um, almost there. Okay, I'm there.
So this is this was the old page. We just built it onto this. But when you get asked for an automation edit, we built in a SAM, which is an AI that talks to you and builds your map with you. So first it says like, okay, hi, I'm Sam. I'll map your business out as we talk, so we can find the highest impact thing to build for you. First, what brought you here today? What made you start looking for help? I can say like, hi, I have a company called Game Planet. We sell physical games. I need help using AI to see my basket for data for everything in Excel and want to put it on our web page. So what Sam does is it basically reads this and sees like, okay, so your company is called Game Planet. This is what you do. This is what we need right now. And it silently sees potential add-ons after you describe your problem. So it'll start mapping. Right now it's taking a while since we're using the Cloud OAuth token. But if we ever went to do this live, we could use an API and it should be much
Yeah,
quicker
TP might be faster. Yeah, tokens per minute would be a lot.
because right now with the OAuth token, I'm having a bit of an issue with it like disconnecting. So I added for it to do some retries and it's been working fine. I haven't had any issues, but it is slow right now.
Gotcha, huh? I don't have issues using that at all. That's interesting. I don't have any connection issues. I mean, occasionally I do, but not related to using the
Yeah, well,
OAuth token.
while we go here, I can show you the issue I was having, which is, um, where was it? See if we,
Do you know you could right click and pin as chapter too, so you could come back and find it easier, just as a reminder?
sorry?
Oh, if you right click the text once you find it, you go pin as chapter,
Oh, okay.
and then you see
Let me search for it.
yeah, sorry. Just a cool feature that I've started to use a lot that I didn't really know about. Well,
Seriously.
wasn't really implemented yet until recently, but
I think it was this one. Yeah, because it's taking some time, and it was working just fine right now.
and also I saw when I was looking through those tutorials, while we were wait for that, like internal silver error, but you see how it says
Yeah,
Sam is mapping that? You could do like the little loading, like 3 dots, so you could show that it's thinking, like rather than just hanging, so it shows that something's going
yeah.
on. Because whenever I see this still text, even though it's saying it's loading, I'm like, did this freeze? So having that little animated thing happening is helpful.
There it
There it
is.
goes.
So it showed that okay, so it shows the client like a mental map of what they have, what Sam's notes are right now. So this is like the quick win, what they currently use. And now it's asking me, for example, sometimes you have a solid foundation with Game Planet. Excel's a great place to keep all your game data centralized. Before we dig into surfacing with the AI on your site, I'm curious what other tools are you using on the business? Let me pull up right now. Um, I had some like pre-made chats just so I don't. So now I'll say like, okay, we have an online store. We have an Excel sheet where we physically load everything from prices to stock revenue. We use Drive and cash register, and another thing for card payments. So now it'll continue to build on onto the information it already has, and this is their plan, like the what we're seeing so far.
That's really cool.
I don't know what you think if Jason would like this for like the sales agent.
Yeah, can you make like a 1 minute recording unless I could just drop in Teams with him? I could share this recording, but this is way too long. Like Ritu will never watch this whole like recording. But like if you could just like Fatima earlier shared like a demo of like a really quick short demo of video of hers, and if you could just show this and just like explain what you're doing, like just record yourself and just like 30 seconds just kind of showing it. Because Ritu is saying she wants, I like this a lot, but Ritu's opinion differs, so I want to put it in front of her and Jason. Because I really like this visualization stuff that's included with the chat, not just a clone of Chat GPT like she said she wants. I like this. I think this is going to be incorporated into the dashboard, um, you know, um, into like a dashboard type thing to take this further. But yeah, this is awesome. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
But we got to get approval from the people in charge. But yeah, if you could just make like a
yeah, I can.
1 minute video, just the shorter the better. As long as it can explain everything that's going on.
Yeah, it's because also one of the problems that arose were that instead of doing like just starting the API and starting the npm, we dockerized everything and it's making everything a bit slower. So well, I don't know if you think, do you think it's better for us to stay in the demo if we're going to be demoing like this, to just get rid of the Docker right now since it's a bit too much. Like for example, every time I want
Yeah, it has to communicate through
to
multiple
restart,
channels. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, you could don't have to Dockerize it right away. It's pretty easy to Dockerize something. So you could just take you don't have to use Docker. It's great for I like it for setup. Like if I'm onboarding people, and it's like just run Docker compose, run build and run, and everything will be set up. I like that about it. But if you're just demoing and it's faster without it, it's probably better. Um, or you could just say that it's slow right now, but this is a prototype to show a concept. It's not quite there yet. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that. So it says, okay, what's the biggest headache you're hitting right now? So I can say like something like the company. I have a lot of
So
it is
this
getting
this
too big
feature
for
would
me
be
for
part of
now.
the sales agent, right? So essentially, what you're building, like, is this is like a good baseline for a sales agent. If we want the visualization, that's kind of a call on Jason and Ritu's side. You know, I personally
Yeah.
like it. Um, yeah. What happens when
So
Yeah.
I
the
don't
mind
know.
map starts getting bigger? Like, does it branch out more than this? I mean, I imagine so.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I mean,
does.
like,
It does
looking
branch
at
out.
this, I don't know, like, if it could be too much trouble. Have you guys ever used a N8N? I think it's called.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Like the
I've used it
again?
in before. Yeah.
yeah, like maybe create something like that, like a dashboard like that, or a visualization like that, where they can, like, it creates automatically, like from based on the conversation, or you can drag and drop and connect.
Something like
So we
this?
like yeah,
Oh.
because even in there, like for example, when you are creating something, you can open like a side panel, and you can drag and drop like different services, like for example, Excel or SharePoint and stuff like that that you need to that you want to automate. I don't know if something like that could be done in this case.
I don't know
Like
if it could
just
do it in the
in
scope,
this
but
case, just
also I think it's too technical for what they want to do because like it starts looking like a dev plan, and they want to avoid that for the client. But really, our
okay.
target's people that want to do AI, but are just kind of overwhelmed and don't know where to put it at, right? Because anyone that's going to be like,
Just
I looked at this opportunity like
make it as
right
simple as
away is
possible.
already already doing it essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I just think it's more of a dev thing than it is the target audience we're going for clients. Just from what I hear from Jason.
Yeah, I still have work to do with making it quicker. I don't know if it's using one of the bigger models, and that's why it's taking so
Oh,
much.
you're out of tokens too, huh?
Yeah, my context window is
Oh, it's full.
hitting.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Don't let it
I'll
get that
just
full. It'll
stop.
make a bunch of mistakes on you, dude. Slash, say summarize summarize what's going on. Use the slash compact. Remember, so you don't have to
Oh
like.
yeah, yeah. I've
Okay,
been doing.
okay.
I actually have like a handoff that Cloud automatically keeps, so I can just start a new session with it whenever, and it automatically starts reading it before.
You have it right to it like
Um,
like a like doc file, like an MD file to keep your memory.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. I was doing that too, but I realized pretty much I'm using double the tokens for whatever I'm doing then because I have to have it do that too. That's why I just I do have a couple of projects set up like that though, where basically my Cloud MD is like an index into other files, and then I just have like the file path and then like the purpose of it, like the instructions, so they can look at the Cloud MD and be like, oh, I'm working on this right now, so they'll go read that file to get all the context, because I was trying to make it that way. But
What
yeah,
I do is that I have a plugin which is called Cloud Mem,
yeah, you were
and
saying
basically
that,
every time
yeah.
it hits like a limit of context, it just like saves it on like on the it's like on that repo. And when you want to go back or keep going, it just reminds Cloud like everything that was happening and happened without putting tokens.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's like an extension of the memories. I mean,
Okay, so yeah, it for example, some of the bubbles get overlapped, which is something I also need to work on. But it already mapped everything right now, and it says like, okay, I've got a clear picture, and it's basically saying that we can put a few tailored options for you, ready to see them. The customer can keep chatting if they want to add anything or edit anything, but and he can also see their solutions if they just like create an account. So I was thinking that would be the greatest part, like the better part for them to create their account, to like lock their solutions behind like the account creation. So once it sees, it can you can also see some of the add-ons that Sam picked up, and the recommended approaches, which you can see right here also as the staff. We can see game plan, what they want, and we can review their blueprint. We can mark anything recommended, publish the version, and we can see that it's recommended right here. Let's say the client clicks this, and this is the slides we showed last time. Basically what we'll build, everything right here. They can request for changes like I don't know, continue with Stripe, send a change request, and we can see where was it? Okay. Oh, I forgot I need to send it here as Gary. Um, okay. So yeah, I'm still iterating with some of these bugs. For example, I can't see the the reviews
The
right
request
here.
change, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I actually would take it as is before you try to like problem solve on like the overlapping stuff and spend time on that. Make sure it's something that they're interested in. I know it can be. I know it's
Okay.
solvable, but to be, I just don't like try to get it like working all good for the demo I'm asking for. Like it'd be good like within the next 30 minutes you just do like if you could so I could share it with them before the end of the day, so we kind of get feedback right away on that, you know. But like show
Yeah,
that, yeah,
I'll dedockerize everything to make it um faster, and I'll see just so it can respond a bit faster and maybe get rid of that errors.
yeah.
And once that's done, I'll send you like a 1 to 2 minute demo so you can show them on Teams.
Yeah, cause I'll just tell them like basically what my pitch is going to be to them when I show them is like, Ritu, I know you requested like a Chat GPT clone with like just the chat, but I really like the like this visualization thing that could be. Is this something that you guys want to not consider, or is this something that you guys want to pursue because it looks really cool? And then they'll tell me yes or no, and then I'll let you know. You know, so that way you could actually don't spend time like trying to get that looking good and working. I did like the feedback from Enrique though on like innate in how it had the cool stylized stuff, like you know how like it shows it like that. Like I don't know. I think for a prototype and looking at it, is just the boxes are just fine, but just like to style it up a little bit, you know, like I don't know the shapes like that would be a little more interesting. Like having like icons we fill in and drop on there that are parts of the different ideas. But it's just a mind map. We don't need to do none of that. I was just thinking it does look cool because I did use N8N for a workflows a few times, and it is pretty cool when you share. It is something about the UI, the way it looks, and like the different icons for the stuff does look cool. But in a mind map, you wouldn't do that, right? So it doesn't matter. So yeah, never disregard that. I'm just being a nerd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll work on that with Brian. And hopefully by the like in around 2 hours, I can send you like a quick demo you can show them.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay.
All right, the recording is running pretty long. I'm going to go ahead and stop it now, but I wanted to make sure I captured that demo too. And thanks for sharing. But I'm going to stop the recording now.